There is a moment after you say something, not the saying, not the intention. The moment when the other person responds. Your body knows what's coming before they open their mouth. The scan for tone, the check for understanding, the search for the proof that you were clear enough, good enough and safe enough. But if their response is sharp or vague or misses your meaning entirely, you feel the old pull. The urge to explain, to clarify, to add one more sentence that will fix the gap between what you meant and what they actually heard. Because in everyday exchange, there is still no guarantee. No body language can save a misread tone. No eye contact can rescue a joke that landed flat. And no real-time gap where System 2 can catch up before System 1 reacts. There is just words received. And words can be a misread. And misreading feels like being misseen. And being misseen feels like the old pattern repeating all over again. So today I want to talk about the machinery of everyday feedback. Not the comment section specifically, the general exposure. The person who eye rolls at something you said. The friend who doesn't take you seriously. The family member who asks why you're doing this, as if your purpose needs their approval. And I want to talk about why the urge to over-explain is the shield's smartest trick. Because it looks like communication, but it's actually protection. This isn't about handling haters. This is about handling the machinery that wakes up when someone you know has an opinion about something you care about. You send a message, you make a comment, you offer an idea, and then you wait. Not for the response itself, for the proof that you were understood. Because if they understood you exist, if they got the joke, then you're funny. If they saw your point, then you're competent. If they matched your tone, then you're safe. And when they don't, when the response is off, when the tone is flat, when they ask a question you already answered, you start to feel that tightness. Not anger, not hurt, something older. The System 1 reflex that says, I was misread, I was misseen, I was not properly received. And if I don't fix this immediately, they will file me under the wrong category. So instead you over-explain, you add context, you clarify the joke, you rephrase the point, you send the follow-up before they've even finished typing, and it looks like helpfulness, it looks like thoroughness, it looks like you just want to be understood, but underneath, it's the shield that learned long ago, if they don't see you clearly, they might see you the wrong way, and the wrong way is where the old stories live. Now I know this because I've been through it myself. The eye roll at a comment I made, the dismissal of something I knew, the person who didn't take me seriously, not because I was wrong, but because my delivery didn't match their expectation of who I was allowed to be. And every time the script said the same thing, you need to explain more, be clearer, try harder, make sure they can't misunderstand. As if perfect clarity would guarantee perfect reception. But I'll let you into something, it doesn't. So here's what complicates the machinery. Praise lifts you, not a little, completely, 100%. When someone sees you, gets you, validates what you're building, you automatically feel purpose, you feel real. You feel the script go quiet for a moment, because praise is proof. Proof that the old stories were wrong. Proof that the eye rolls were noise. Proof that people who didn't take you seriously were seeing their own projection, not your actual work. And that lift is clean. No residue, no hidden cost. Just the relief of being properly received. But the need for that lift is also data. Not bad data. Just honest data. praise quiets the script. It means the script was loud. If validation proves the old stories were wrong, it means the old stories are still running. If reassurance feels like oxygen, it means you've been holding your breath. And the script knows this. The script knows that praise is your medicine. So the script creates the condition where you need that medicine by making you over-explain, by making you perform clarity, by making you supply more and more of yourself in exchange for the reassurance that you are actually seen properly. The script builds a contract. You give thoroughness, they give validation. And that contract works until it doesn't. The over-explaining is a performance, not because you're fake, not because you're trying to manipulate, because you're trying to survive a misread. And survival for System 1 means control. If I can just explain clearly enough, they can't dismiss me. If I can just add enough context, they can't eye roll. If I can just be thorough enough, they have to take me seriously. But the trap is in the logic. The more you explain, the more you perform. The more you perform, the less you're present. The less you're present, the more likely you are to be misread. Because people don't respond to thoroughness, they respond to presence. And presence lives in the gap, the space between what you said and what they heard. The space where you don't fill every silence with clarification. The space where you let them meet you instead of chasing them with more words. The over-explainer is someone who learned that words were the only tool they had to be seen. And who hasn't yet learned that being seen doesn't require perfect explanation? It requires stopping. I used to think that if I just explained well enough, the misunderstanding would dissolve. I used to think that clarity was a shield against dismissal. I used to think that the person who eye rolled, who didn't take me seriously, who asked why I'm doing this, I used to think that that was my fault. I hadn't been clear enough. They hadn't supplied enough evidence. But now I know they were never going to see me. Not because I'm unclear, because they need to see me to stay in the category they've already filed me under. And no amount of explanation will change that. Now there is another layer to this. The pressure to perform for satisfaction. Not just to be understood, to be approved, to be liked, to have the other person leave the exchange feeling good about you. And that pressure creates a new contract. You supply the clarity, you supply the reassurance, you supply the performance of someone who is easy to receive. In exchange, they supply the validation that you were worth receiving. The contract works when both people play. It breaks when they don't. When the other person eye rolls anyway, when they don't take you seriously regardless of your thoroughness, when they ask why you're doing this even after you've explained it perfectly, and when the contract breaks, the script panics. Because the script doesn't know what to do with someone who won't be satisfied. The script only knows how to perform harder, how to explain more, how to be even more palatable, more acceptable, and more thoroughly understood. And the real you, the one who just wanted to say one true thing, gets buried under the mountain of expectation. Now, I want to be honest about something. I need reassurance. Not in a weak way, and not in a way that makes me less capable, just in a human way. The praise lifts me because it confirms that the work is real, that the message is landing, that the machinery I'm describing is actually helping. But I also know the need for reassurance is the script's door. I need it too much, I'll perform for it. I'll over-explain for it. I'll become the most thoroughly understood person in the room and the least actually present. So the gap is where I catch this. The gap between wanting to be understood and needing to be approved. Because they're not actually the same thing. And only one of them is actually real. So this isn't about the comments section. This is about the room that you're in right now. the person who doesn't take you seriously, the friend who hears your suggestion and changes the subject, the family member who asks when you're going to get a real job, the colleague who eye rolls at something you said in the meeting, the everyday feedback that isn't feedback at all. It's projection. It's their own script running their own patterns, seeing you through the lens of who they need you to be. And your job is not to explain yourself out of their projection. Your job is to recognise the projection and let it just be theirs. I used to walk into rooms and feel the weight of every unspoken opinion. I used to sense the eye rolls before they even happened. I used to prepare explanations for questions no one had even asked yet. I was performing for an audience that wasn't even paying attention, and the performance just exhausted me. Not because they were cruel, because I was trying to control something that was uncontrollable, how I am received. The person who doesn't take you seriously is not your problem. The person who eye rolls is not your problem. The person who asks why you're doing this, as if your purpose needs their approval, well, they're not your problem either. The problem is the part of you that believes them. The part that says, if they don't see me, I must not be seeable. If they don't take me seriously, I must not be serious. If they don't understand, I must not be understandable. That part is just the script, and the script is not you. So how do you use this when this video ends? When you feel the urge to over-explain, just stop. Not forever, just for one breath. Ask yourself, am I explaining to be understood, or am I explaining to be approved? If it's just the approval, then the explanation won't work. Just let it be incomplete. When someone misreads your tone, just let them. You don't control their reception. You control your intention. If your intention was honest, the misread is data about them, not evidence about you. When the eye roll happens, just take note of it. Don't chase it. The eye roll is just their system 1 firing. Your system 2 doesn't need to correct it. You don't need to perform thoroughness for someone who wasn't even listening. So when you need the reassurance, accept it. Let the praise lift you. But notice if the lift becomes a requirement. If you can't function without it, the script has built a new contract. So just name it. When someone asks why you're doing this, just answer if you want to. Don't even answer if you don't. Your purpose doesn't need their approval. It only needs your presence. So when you feel the pressure to satisfy, ask yourself, whose satisfaction? Theirs or yours? If it's theirs, you're performing. But if it's yours, then you're building. When the old pattern repeats, the dismissal, the not being taken seriously, the misread, name it silently. This is the old contract. This is the script trying to prove I need to explain more. This is not about me. This is about their machinery. You don't need to be perfectly understood to be real. You don't need to be thoroughly explained to be valid. You don't need to be approved by everybody in the room to keep building. You don't need to satisfy the people who weren't going to be satisfied anyway. The urge to over-explain is the shield's smartest trick. It looks like communication. It looks like thoroughness. It looks like you just want to be clear. But underneath, it's just the old contract. Stay small, stay palatable, stay somewhere they can't dismiss. And the truth is, they can always dismiss you. No amount of explanation prevents dismissal. No amount of clarity prevents misunderstanding. So no amount of thoroughness prevents the eye rolls. Because dismissal is not about you. It's about their need to keep you in the category that makes their world manageable. And you can't explain yourself out of someone else's head. The real you, the one who has something to say, who sometimes jokes and it lands flat, who sometimes suggests and gets ignored, who sometimes builds and gets asked why. That you's enough. more than enough. That you is the only you that anyone can actually meet. Stop performing clarity for people who weren't confused. Stop explaining yourself to people who weren't listening. Stop supplying thoroughness in exchange for validation that was never going to come. The real thing, the presence, the gap, the courage to say one true thing and let it land however it lands is much better. And it's waiting for you in the space between what you said and what they heard. So if you felt the urge to over-explain, even in one message, even in one room, let me know in the comments. I'm really interested to hear where you're learning to stop. And if this hits something for you, you can find me on my socials. Like this video, share it with someone who explains too much. And remember, you don't need to be perfectly understood to be present. You just need to stop chasing the misread.